And welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing the first part of a perfume haul. These are new purchases. In this video I'm going to be covering. In the next one I also have some thrift store finds. So I'm just going to get started here. The first fragrance I have here is by the designer LaRoche, which is a French designer house from the 60s and 70s primarily. So this one is called J'ai Ose. And I'm not really sure what that means. It's I am something. I don't know what Ose means. But this is an eau de parfum fragrance. It's really old school. It was released in 1978. It's technically considered an amber floral. It's a very woody amber patchouli with cedar kind of a fragrance. It also has a healthy dose of oak moss, but it's not the harsh oak moss that you find in Charlie. When I think oak moss, Charlie is kind of the hallmark fragrance for that. This is not that. This is really well balanced with amber. So it's not a harsh oak moss. It's very elegant, very rich. It's not at all sweet, but it's very strong. When I looked this up on Fragrantica, it was rated as eternal in terms of its lasting power. So it's a good 8 hours plus. It's very strong. It projects. And the commenters were saying that it was discontinued, and I don't know that for certain, but if you like these old school oak moss kind of power suit fragrances from the 70s, I would recommend getting your hands on one of these, because if it's been discontinued, they're still pretty reasonably priced. This is a 30 ml I got for about $30, and it's really beautiful. And if you like those old school fragrances that last, definitely give this one a try. Next up I have, alright, so this one is by Maison, Alhambra. Here is the box. It's called Modern Musk. Here is the top, Maison Alhambra. This is a Sea Chronicles Made Me Buy It. Alright, so this is a beautiful, it's called Modern Musk, which I was going to say this is a very modern musk. It's got a heavy dose of rose, and I would say that it's 50% musk, 50% rose. It's very linear, it's very simple, it's very, very pretty, very feminine, and it smells a lot like this fragrance, which is by Jovan, and this one's called Silky Rose. Silky Rose is a little more incensey, whereas this really smells like a kind of a cherry rose incense, the kind that was really popular in the 70s. This really is more just a rosy musk. But they're very similar, and I would say they're so similar that if you have Jovan Silky Rose, you really don't need Modern Musk. That they're similar enough. I'd say about 80 to 85% similar. But this one is gorgeous, and it's not very expensive. So I think it's a safe blind buy if you like rose. Very pretty, a little bit candy-like. It's not really sweet, but it's on the sweet side. So if you've ever had a violet candy, if they ever made something like a rose candy, it would probably taste a lot like this smells. So just my opinion. Next up I have, alright, so this is still in the box. I need to take it out. This one is by Lattafa, and sorry for the reflection here. And this is Oud Mood Elixir. Now, I'm a little hesitant when it comes to ouds because I don't tolerate oud, like the real oud, very well. It's just a little too barnyardy for me, but this one is fairly well balanced. I still find it a little challenging. So there's Oud Mood. This is, again, the Oud Mood Elixir. And I bought this because this one was supposed to be a more wearable version. This is a warm, spicy, leathery fragrance. It starts off with a blast of nutmeg, saffron, and cinnamon. And then it kind of dries down to this sandalwoody suede. Now, if you know anything about saffron, it has a bit of a quality where there's a kind of like, it smells like a Band-Aid, also a bit like gasoline. Now, it's not really pronounced in this fragrance. It's like there's a touch of that. To my nose, it is in the background. It's definitely there. When I looked at the reviews on Fragrantica, there were some people who were saying it smelled like a gasoline enough that smelled like a car repair shop. Now, I actually wouldn't mind a touch of that in a fragrance because I grew up with father and brothers who were working on cars. So in a way, that kind of smells nice to me. But it's really more in the background. There's a touch of those things. It's really more, to my nose, nutmeg, cinnamon, with a lot of warmth, spiciness, and a suede leather. And the suede leather is really classy and nice. It's kind of, the opening's bizarre. Get past that to the dry down, it's gorgeous. Long lasting, really pretty. I need to give it some more wears. I plan to bring it out more in the winter. All right, next up I have Mocha Wood. All right, this is by, okay, who is this by? This is, Lattafa owns this company, but it's not Lattafa. It's Fragrance World, that's it. Fragrance World. This is another Sea Chronicles Made Me Buy It. And it's gorgeous. So this does, I was hoping it wouldn't have any oud or oudiness to it. It definitely has some. But even I am not too challenged by this fragrance. This is really chocolate. And I tried to look this one up and I couldn't get much information on it. It doesn't have saffron to my nose that I can smell. It's a woody, chocolatey fragrance. So it reminds me a bit of Tom Ford's Black Orchid, but it's very wearable. So if you take the chocolate note out of Black Orchid and amp it up, that's what Mocha Wood smells like. So it's all the good stuff about Black Orchid, taking out all the bad stuff, the leather, the funky, the barnyardy stuff, and leaving you really with the chocolatey sweetness of that. It's a dark chocolate. And then it's got a lot of character and warmth. It's a very warm fragrance. And it's got an eternal lasting power. I put on 2 or 3 sprays when I first got this on my hands. And after doing dishes, I could still smell it. The next morning, I could still smell it. And that is really rare in a fragrance. So if you like chocolate, you want something that really lasts well, I highly recommend getting this. So this is $32. U.S. seller on Amazon. Mocha Wood by Fragrance World, right? For a full 100 ml. And then I have one more for this video. This is from Fuller. So this is not a Middle Eastern fragrance. This is Mexican. So this Fuller, you can see here, Fuller is the Mexican version of Avon. And this one's called Shantung Rose, and I was hoping for kind of an old school, old world rose fragrance. That's not what this is, however. This is a very sweet, fruity floral. It reminds me like if La Vie est Belle and Britney Spears' Fantasy had a baby, it would smell like this. So it's rosy, but it's a very modern rose, and it's very sweet. But it doesn't really have any character in terms of fruitiness. So when I said fruity floral, it's really more just a sweet floral. It's a sweet, rosy, candied-like fragrance. So when I said earlier that this was like a candied, Modern Musk was like a candied rose, this is like candied rose, but it's covered in sugar and syrup and maybe even a bit of cotton candy. It's really much more sweet. So if you like a really sweet overdose and rose, this might be worth trying because it's really inexpensive. I want to say this was around $20 for a full 100 ml. And it's been so long since I bought it, I don't remember exactly how long the shipping took. But anyway, it's very reasonably priced. And I've kind of been exploring the Fuller fragrances. They've got some really beautiful old school florals. classic kind of fragrances that I'm enjoying. So anyway, that is my first part of this haul. I'm not sure if I'll have time to film the second half today, but I'll get to it soon. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.